Marla Hughes is now trying to dodge her deposition. Russ the Sus is still under ethics investigation and he's running for town hall. And the February 5th thumbnail case, Trespass 5 case, has been continued until April. If you want to be in the know, you're about to be in the no-no. I've previously given Marla Hughes the benefit of the doubt that she was responding to my legal team that she would not be at her deposition because she was alerted through email that the court reporter was ill. And that's the only reason her deposition for the federal case was actually canceled. Now, in response to that, and again, I have that email that she stated she would not be there. Again, apparently, inappropriate on my behalf to think that she was a decent human being that understood when she's court ordered she must attend a federal deposition, because she has now gone on to other platforms and in other live streams, which is incriminating for her, very much so, stating things such as, which don't worry, my legal team has this and this will be coming up in federal court. She has said, as you're going to be able to see right here, Marla Hughes, I'm here. I emailed Shockit that I wasn't coming, and I told the process server I wasn't going to. Much later, Shockit emailed me that day. They couldn't find a court reporter. This morning, my email, ... which then goes on to say a bunch of nothing. Again, publicly posting. How foolish can you be? Self-incriminating. If the email was undeliverable, sent to the wrong address, it would have come back the same day. Also, I know the address was right. I got it off his practice's website. Okay, so again, erroneously, I gave Marla Hughes the benefit of the doubt that she was actually doing the right thing and just letting my legal team know, okay, I got your notice that it is being rescheduled. I won't be there. But she's now completely and totally saying, I'm not going. I'm dodging. How many people have been dodging depositions? Okay, we have Scott Stark dodges deposition, yet he's a lawyer, and he knows if he didn't show, he'd be held in contempt and sanctions, which is going to happen for Lisa Repulse Lee. She's dodged her deposition, did not show, which motion for contempt of court charges and also sanctions is being filed. Now, Marla is trying to do the exact same thing. Now, Dodgy Robbie was dodging as well, except you gotta leave that gated in 40 acres of swamp at some time, which isn't a swamp or a sanctuary for gators. It is a breeding ground for selling gator skins. Make sure you understand that, very much so. So now Marla is jumping in on this, and she's dodging as well. Here's my biggest issue with this. If these individuals are claiming to be LIEnette's closest allies, closest friends, right? That's what they're saying. They know everything. And her truth needs to be told. If her truth needs to be told and they have all this information for that truth to be told, why are they dodging the one opportunity that they can be on the record in the court and actually share that truth? Seems a little sus, doesn't it? I think it seems a little bit more than sus. Now, will Dodgy Robbie show? I think he has more than enough brains that he should. Now, will he use them? That'll be determined. Will Russ the Sus show? Well, we'll get to Russ the Sus in just a moment. But with Marla Hughes outright stating publicly, I mean, this is the type of foolishness. How can you get more incompetent? How can you self-incriminate just a little bit more? I'm sure they'll figure it out. Oh, wait, that's right. They'll go live for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. That's what they'll do. When you are subpoenaed, regardless of whether you are a plaintiff, if you're a defendant, or a witness, which these individuals are, you must show up for that deposition. End of story. Now, what are they doing? They're costing me money, which then they will be sued for that money in sanctions. And then they're going to cry, well, we have no money. Okay, well, the federal court will figure that out for sure, because the federal court has the authority to come in and seize assets to be then auctioned for the money owed. Now, will that happen? I'm not the magistrate. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I can't determine whether that's going to happen or not. What I can tell you, what is happening is illegal on these fools' part, especially when they're given that one opportunity to share their truth. If they have so much truth, then why aren't they putting it on the record? What are they scared of? That the record will actually reflect the crimes they have committed? That would be my best guess. And speaking of those crimes, that brings us up to Russ the Sus. Okay, Otter Creek. And we're going to get into so much more. Otter Creek has an election, April 1st. Kind of funny, right? This April, we have another election. And Russ the Sus, Don the Con, and some other fools, LIEnette. Remember, I'm not a public figure. I'm a private individual. Oh, except Deuce calls her, what's that? It starts with a C. C word. What's that C word? That I know which one you're thinking about. Oh, celebrity. Deuce calls her a celebrity. So not only is she a celebrity, now she's running for office again. Now, this is the same woman running down to Judge Grudge and claiming she's scared for her life. Obviously, not too scared for her life when she wants to continue to be out in the public. Everything she said, everything from we have to wear masks to life-threatening disease to this and that, can't be around people. It's all been debunked. And let's ask that question. Why can't these fools come up with their own material, their own content, their own verbiage, their own jokes, their own... They literally steal my legal disclaimer that I wrote. A lawyer didn't write it. I wrote it. It's from me. It's not been approved by a lawyer. And they take it and they use it and claim that they're okay now because they stole my verbiage. Pretty sure that's plagiarism. All right. They take my jokes, no, and debunked, and they try and play it off as if they're funny. They just look like fools trying to use my jokes. They don't have delivery, and they're not funny. A little bit of an issue there, right? So Russ the Sus. I literally just got off the phone with the Ethics Commission. So Russ the Sus is still under investigation. Very much so. Very deeply under investigation. Now, laws changed this past December in 2024 in the state of Florida in regards to the ethics. And therefore, new laws were drafted, they were being implemented, and that put this whole investigation being held back. Now, my particular question with the Ethics Commission was, when will this investigation be over, and can you keep him from running on the board based on what he has done? So the investigation is still on and very deep in the investigation. They said that the investigation should be wrapped up in roughly a month, but they cannot commit to that time frame. And as such, the Ethics Commission can fine him up to $20,000 per offense. And if he is voted in back on the board, they can remove him. Now, since he's already not on town council, they can't remove him because he's not on it. But if he were to get voted back in, which I think is, I cannot foresee that happening. But I haven't foreseen other things that have happened as well. Unfortunately, I'm not always right. Remember, George said I'm only right 9 times out of 10, not 10 times out of 10. But the Ethics Commission can actually remove him from that council, remove him from the board, with the biggest thing being civil penalties, up to $20,000 fine per offense. Not for one investigation. I gave multiple things. I think there were 13 points that I gave them. So if they were to take all 13 times 20,000, you see what you're at now? A lot of money that Russ the Sus does not have. So that should be finalized here within the month. That would be interesting, understanding that he's running for town council while he's under a major investigation. And then if he gets fined, and then if he gets voted on and they remove him, oh boy. Now, not only that, you all already know that LIEnette is going to be watched like a hawk if she happens to get on. Now, we already know she's not going to get on. She's ran once already, and she started all of this garbage in Otter Creek with all of these garbage Otter Creek pages. And the people saw it all, and the people wanted nothing to do with her. They did not vote for her. on purpose because she's freaking insane. Like the freaking tablet, right? Okay. So, if she gets one vote from Crook, she'll get one vote from herself. She'll get one vote from Joy, who's been talking a bunch of smack, and whose grandson I didn't press charges against after he destroyed my security camera with a brick and a shovel. And this is her response. She's never going to be welcome here again. Nor will her family, based on her actions. So she may get 3 votes. Oh, wait, well, Russ is going to have to vote for her as well. So will Don, or they'll never, ever be able to take control of the board. Could you imagine somebody so psychotic, somebody so mentally unhinged, a part of the board? And then what that's going to open up for ethics, for broken laws. Half of me goes, oh my goodness, let's just sit back, pop the popcorn, and watch this thing happen because it's going to be off the chain, anxiety through the roof, right? My child just fell down. And we could go on and on and on. I can't foresee this happening, but if it were to actually happen, all I foresee is more charges against her, more issues. She is clueless. If you were to ask, is she dumb? No, I would say she's dumber than dumb. We are talking bottom of the barrel. As a matter of fact, this is the same woman who just posted yesterday that she's searching for Andrew Campbell, who is a convicted, known rug addict who they've had on their property, living on the property, another known rug addict, same rug addict who was stealing food from Winn-Dixie and then giving it to them. Does that make them accomplices? Absolutely. So Andrew was stealing the food from Winn-Dixie. I let the manager know. The manager stops it immediately. Andrew's gone. Andrew then gets arrested for abusing rugs, and they have Andrew on the property around a life-threatening diseased child who they want to go on and say, what does he care if she's still in diapers? She'll do it at her own pace. She's 5. She's literally in chats admitting that the 5-year-old is still in diapers, not potty trained. Which brings us to the potty. Remember when we were all told that, this whole porta potty, the blue porta potty, it's only there for the event. It's only there because of the... Oh, hold a second. It's still there. And as of yesterday, as I'm driving down the road, the septic truck is driving in. And who's out in front of the road, not scared? It's none other than LIEnette. Now, I've got to share with you, I start laughing because I find it extremely humorous that a septic truck is coming into their property to pump out the porta potty that the world, no, dare I say, the planet was told that this is only because guests are on the property for this event, and yet it's still there. Now, my best guess, and I have to admit it's only a guess, is this is part of the case plan. Now, we've been told over and over again that the case plan is closed, that CPS has been called 30 times and they have found nothing and the governor's involved. The governor's involved in absolutely nothing. I know that, you know that, the planet knows that. The governor is not involved in these types of things. I would almost be willing to bet everything I own that that porta potty is on that property illegally, just so you're aware. Porta potties on residential properties for this amount of time is illegal. It's against the law. As is what they've done to the fence is against the law. And I can share with you that is being looked into to address and to pursue, not by me, by other individuals that are of the authority to do such things. I would almost be willing to bet that this porta potty is 100% part of the case plan because there is no working toilet. Well, you got that outdoor bathroom that she's so proud of. When she got called out on it, and she said, oh, it's not for us, it's for the turtles. This is hilarious. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. They're coming to clean the porta potty, but I guarantee you that porta potty's still going to be there afterwards. Before we get into the actual continuances for the Trespass 5 and the thumbnail lawsuit, then, which, by the way, remember, Deuce told us, no, this is never going to happen. Nothing's going to, we'll never. We've heard every spin from every angle from that giant nose. It's hideous. Not the spin, the nose. It's literally hideous. Oh my goodness. Oh. Woo! Man, talk about Batman's cave. That's a bat cave right there. I know you know. Before we get into that, what about these other fools? Well, look, I literally have people sending documentation on individuals that have done illegal things that, this is all on a pile of guano. So, for example, right here, don't read this on air. Theft, won't do any refunds. Everything. I have all the communication right here. An entire right there. Yeah, he's still going to court for all the defamation. As he continues to dig a further hole for himself, that's his issue. That's not my issue. This is a very immature, very, very immoral, and very, very... well, just look at his record. All you got to do is search his record, and I don't have to show it to you. All you have to do is search his record. Look at all the people complaining. The funniest thing is he's now stating that he's getting his auctioneer's license, and that everything's going to be great. And this is the next step. The auctioneer license puts him under more legal liability than he's ever been under before. And all of these things right here that have been shared with us, that puts him guilty in jail. And so this is like LIEnette going, oh, I just want to be left alone. I'm going to run for town council. And if she gets on town council, she's going to be under the biggest microscope in the world, and everything she does is going to be scrutinized, and she's going to be found liable for the things she does wrong. That's the same thing a pile of guano is doing, going, oh, this is the next step. This is great. Yeah, that puts him under so much legal liability that he can't even begin to fathom, because per his own words, you have never, ever seen me sober in my life. He said that to me, he said that to many others, and there's many other things that could be said in regards to this individual, which will come out in court. For example, his ex-girlfriend has even been so gracious to say, hey, do you need me to go public and say anything yet? And I said, no, just keep every screenshot, just keep every video, and we'll take care of it all in court. And that's where it's going to happen, in court. She has everything. It'll happen in court. Speaking of court, what's going on in federal court? Well, Deuce has filed a motion for an extension for him to provide his handwriting expert. The handwriting expert that's not a handwriting expert. The handwriting expert that's been thrown out of court multiple times for many defrauding things. The handwriting expert that is now claiming that I wrote the signs to match LIEnette's handwriting. Now, if I were going to get a handwriting expert, I would definitely not want that handwriting expert saying, oh, that looks like LIEnette's handwriting, but Jeremy must have been trying to match it. Nah, that seems a little bit condemning there. So he's trying to file a motion because he's so foolish. He doesn't even follow the guidelines and the time of what needs to happen in federal court. Now, what's the magistrate going to do? At this point, who knows? Now, we know what the magistrate has done a lot already. Denied. And you're going, well, Jeremy, what about when you put in a motion to add other defendants and the magistrate denied it? Keep in mind, the magistrate, when we were in Pensacola, the magistrate literally sat us down and said, listen, I don't like this aspect of adding this. He said, he's looking straight at me and Randy, and he goes, the best cases that win are streamlined, and now you're adding all this other stuff, other people, and there's other venues and other avenues to take care of those other things. If we keep it streamlined, then it's easiest for the jury, and it's frankly easiest for the win. Now, not having Deuce as a defendant is actually still win. We're looking at literally the planet's worst lawyer. Best for me because I haven't had to pay a thing. I mean, I know no. I mean, he's doing so much work on my behalf that he's making life pretty easy. And so him being that lawyer is probably the bigger gift than having him as a defendant, which he can be held as a defendant in yet another case, which that will 100% happen. That is absolutely happening. And so that, and you tie that all in with Deuce is so incompetent, he doesn't even have his handwriting expert into the system, into the federal case in time, which is going to be thrown out anyway based on who this individual is. I'm willing to guarantee it. Again, I'm going to say the same thing. Why, if you have this handwriting expert, and this is the same as the depositions, if you have this handwriting expert, why wouldn't you just produce that handwriting expert in the very beginning? Why wouldn't you have said, all right, we're ready. Here's our expert. This is our greatest defense. And yet you didn't, and you waited, and time has passed, and now you're scrambling, scraping the bottom of the barrel, literally scraping the bottom of the barrel, getting other scammers, getting other fraudsters, getting other intimidators, getting people with felonies. I mean, come on. This is a felony stacked sandwich of people here. You got clean, good people on one side, and you got felony, rug addict on the other side. Not very difficult for the planet to see. So, scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to get more felons, more scammers to scam more people. Probably not the best idea in all reality. Okay, but Deuce and Starkey also filed, and I say Starkey very loosely, because it's Deuce only with Stark's name, promising Stark money. As a matter of fact, one of the things that people want to know is, where did LIEnette get $3,000 to pay Stark? Well, she didn't. It wasn't LIEnette that paid Stark. Stark lied under oath in his deposition. And yes, we have all the proof. So Stark lied about that as well. Now, anybody want to take a guess where the money came from? Whose pocket? Oh, I bet you can figure it out. Now, I wonder where all of that fundraising money went to. You know, the fundraising money that individuals who gave money for LIEnette to the Walruses are now claiming they want their money back. They want accountability. You want to see where it's going. How much do you think that went to Deuce? How much? And under deposition, why would they dodge deposition? They don't want to disclose all the financials? I mean, why would this be an issue? If this is so up and up, if this is such a great thing they're doing, if she's so not guilty, she's innocent, we're innocent. We keep hearing this from her. We haven't done nothing. We're innocent. If she's so innocent, then why are people so concerned about sharing the truth? Her truth. Remember, we keep hearing this. Her truth. By the way, there is no her truth, his truth, anybody's truth. It's your truth. Tell your truth. There is only truth. It's called absolute truth. Absolute truth is absolute. There is no if, ands, or buts. It's an absolute. It is. It cannot change. You can't change an absolute to a non-absolute. Now, I know that might have been a little heady for some people. Okay. So in our world, in our culture has taken a nosedive. Emphasis on nose. Ba-doing, dive. You know what I'm talking about. Because if you know, you know. To this whole aspect of everybody has their own truth. No, that's not exactly how the world works. If I show you this guitar pick, and one person says, that's a red guitar pick. Well, then it's a red guitar pick, right? Well, what color is it? Is it red? If it's red, that means it's absolutely red. Now, somebody else says, no, my truth says that guitar pick is yellow. That guitar pick's not yellow. No, my truth says it is. It's my truth. okay, you realize you look like a complete incompetent fool. The guitar pick isn't yellow. Yes, it isn't my truth. I'm innocent. Not yellow. You may be mental, but you're not innocent. Okay? Absolute truth will always be absolute. You can't change absolute truth from what it actually is. And our culture wants to claim any type of truth. And it amazes me that some of these elder generation, such as LIEnette CROOK, latch onto this. Marli Hughes, Walruses, they're latching onto this. I mean, this is typically a younger generation thing. And now it's seeping into the culture, into the older generation when they get caught. You see, they only claim their truth when they're getting caught, not when any other time. If it's somebody else, what if I were to go to these individuals and go, "This is my truth. This is my truth," they would go, "No, it's not. He's a liar." How is it that they have their truth, but I don't have my own truth? Please explain that to me. Philosophy. We're talking philosophy here, right? Explain that to me. So their truth is truth, but my truth isn't truth, but their truth is against my truth and different from my truth, but their truth is truth for everybody. My truth is truth for nobody. Even though I have evidence and proof, and I can literally tell you the guitar pick is red. Actually, I'm colorblind. I'm actually guessing right now. I think it's red. Absolute truth will always be absolute. So what does Ducey and old Starkey do for the February 5th cases where DUI guy plus Larry Foreman's headed on down, which now he's not? They file for a continuance. Well, Stark does, but was it really Stark? And I guarantee you, Stark and Deuce are not getting along right now because Stark is going to be held accountable for a lot of money that he does not have that Deuce promised him. Stark files the first motion for continuance, and he does it completely and totally wrong. First of all, he tries to do it through an email. That is not how you file a legal motion in the court system. And he's asking the judge to, communicate a little bit on his deposition. Again, not the way you approach a judge at all, especially through email. You make a formal filing, a legal filing or a motion. Now that motion is turned down. It is denied, which we put a community post up yet again. Denied. Deuce is probably going down in the Guinness World Book of Records as the most denied lawyer on the planet. And why is it denied? Now, you have to understand, in the legal system, most judges are going to work with anybody in regards to a continuance, unless it's Judge Grudge in Levy County and it's me and Mark Feather has a medical appointment and I have to be in Ohio for court. And Judge Grudge is not going to grant a continuance. He's going to put a temporary restraining order on me. Then the appellate courts are going to tell him he's wrong, he's off the case, and he can never try anything with me or anything that I'm involved with again. But most judges are going to say, "Oh, you got a medical appointment? Okay, I can work with that. You've got this issue? Okay, we can work with that." Now, Judge Davis denied the first attempt at a continuance under Stark's name, even though Deuce most likely wrote it, based on Stark, who is a licensed Florida lawyer, not following Florida law. So what has happened now in Florida law is anytime any motion is made, any legal filing, the lawyers must confer. Okay, they must have a conference. Now, the reason why this is happening is because a lot of times there are issues in the court systems, and lawyers generally get along with each other. I mean, they all understand we're an officer of the court. We're in this together, even though they may represent two people who can't stand each other, LIEnette and CROOK. Let's say somebody's representing LIEnette, somebody's representing CROOK, and these two can't stand each other. I mean, we know LIEnette has said CROOK is a runk, he's a rug dealer, he's a rug addict, he is a ARPist, she said all of these, publicly posted all of it. They hate each other. The lawyers typically get along just fine. They realize the interpersonal issues are between the two clients and not between them. They're officers of the court, and they must maintain a high standard and a high quality of professionalism. Well, the law puts them in a place where they should sit down and talk these things through before wasting time, valuable time at the court, or money, valuable money from the clients. hey, we can just sit down and talk this out. We don't have to file a motion. Let's just work it out. So the new law says you got to sit down, you need to confer, you got to have a conference to talk it out. Now, Scott Stark files a motion, and he does not confer with Randy Shockett, the Shockett Law Group. He does nothing. First of all, he sends an email. That's wrong. He's then told you need to file a formal motion, and then he's denied. Sit down, denied, yet again. Okay, so he's denied because he doesn't follow the law. He doesn't follow the new statutes and the rules. Is he even in the know of what they are? He literally has to be educated. This is like Randy teaching Deuce everything that has to be done in federal court. He has no clue whatsoever. Lost. Completely clueless. With a nose like that, you'd think he'd have a nose like a hound to figure it all out. Oh, by the way, we just don't make fun of Deuce's nose. I'm sure many of the followers of What the Hales understand that George and I make fun of our huge noses all the time. All the time. And so I'm thankful my nose has nothing like his. But I got a big schnoz too. And I can sniff out the truth, and I can sniff out a scammer when I see one or smell one. And Deuce, whoo, he's definitely one. And he has to be educated the entire time. Stark had to be educated as well. So then when he files a motion, which you have to understand beforehand, Stark has already agreed to February 5th for the thumbnail lawsuit, which is sanctions. In other words, they filed the lawsuit and then they withdrew the lawsuit, which cost me, I'm going to guess, somewhere around $10,000 with the legal fees that I have to pay. And so now Stark is on the line and LIEnette is on the line for filing and withdrawing and costing me roughly $10,000 in legal fees, which then Judge Davis, if he does what I think he's going to do, is going to say, guilty, you have to pay sanctions. And which means they have to pay me for all the legal work for that frivolous lawsuit that they filed. So where's LIEnette going to get the money? Well, we know we're not getting any accountability from the walruses. Nothing is happening there, right? And it's also going to fall on Stark. And if you've seen anything about Stark, this guy lives in a 55 and older community in a rundown shack. Failed as a lawyer. Complete failure as a lawyer. And it looks like his health is failing as well. He doesn't have the money. Neither does LIEnette. But the nice thing is it can be garnished. The courts can come in and get it. Oh, but where does that leave Deuce? Well, that's for later down the road. But Scott Stark then files an amended motion. And he has the conference, he confers with Randy. And that's part of the amended motion. Now, which he states, hey, I've got doctor's appointments. This is difficult for my health. I got to ask the question because it needs to be asked. What lawyer willingly, knowingly takes these frivolous cases on, knowing that you have health issues, agree that you're going to be there, and then all of a sudden, now that you're going to be held accountable financially, you say, no, I'm not going to be there. I mean, this is insanity. This is like Lisa Repulsi telling the world she can't wait for her deposition. She's going to rip us apart. She's going to do this. Oh, you're not going to believe it. And then she won't show. Marli Huge opening her big mouth all over the internet, now going to be held legally accountable for it. And yet she won't show. And now you got Scott Stark, who tried to dodge deposition as well, but he knew he'd be held accountable in court. And then he does show, throws Deuce under the bus, and now he doesn't want to show up for court in Levy County. He won't show. You know, you got all of these fools, Pile Guano, you've got Boneless, you got Walruses, you got Stupid Dave, you got, the list can probably go on. All grifting off of my name and my life story and what's happened to me. Hideous, horrible things have happened to me. And I don't wish this upon anybody. What I do wish is all these fools being held accountable for the illegal things they have done and they continue to do. And as I said from the beginning, birds of a feather, they flock together. And that's exactly what they're doing. So let's look at this amended motion from Scott Stark. And then they're all going to cry. When the courts hold them accountable, they're all going to cry. I'm a victim. All right. We're looking at it right here from the courts. And it says right here, amended. And by the way, when these were originally filed, wrong case numbers, wrong plaintiff, wrong defendants, everything was wrong. All right, now it says, now comes the defendant, Michelle Preston and H.G. Preston, by and through the undersigned counsel, then hereby files the motion for continuance in support of the states as follows. Number one, the undersigned attorney represents the defendants in the above caption matter. Well, that's a lie. The lead attorney is not Scott Stark. His name is the only thing that is being used. It is Deuce doing all of this. And yes, we'll be able to prove it all in court. And yes, we have all the evidence. The undersigned attorney has recently developed significant health problems to impair the ability to effectively represent the defendant at or currently scheduled hearing on Wednesday at 2 p.m. on February 5th, 2025. Now, isn't that interesting? Let's just pause right there. Isn't that interesting? Because this whole side is saying that I've only done this for YouTube content. Everything legalities is only done for YouTube content, where I've constantly said, stop and leave us alone. That's odd. So we went on for almost a year of all LIEnette's garbage and Crook's garbage, then sent them a cease and desist. They completely ignored. They up. I get a firearm pulled out on me. I've got signs all over town calling me an ARPist. I've got interference with my business. And has it gone down? No, it's gone up. I have civil protection orders against these fools. Have they stopped? No, they continue to be even more aggressive with it. So their whole defense is Jeremy is only doing this for YouTube content, when they filed 2 frivolous lawsuits that they are going hours and hours and hours live streaming, talking about, going, yay, we got a continuance, let's party. Any judge is going to give a continuance if there's a medical issue, unless you push it, unless you lie. And they better hope, like Hale's, we didn't catch them in the lie. Or did we? Okay, let's see what else. Due to the attorney's health problems, such as diabetes, congestive heart failure, and cataract surgery in the middle of the upcoming month, the undersigned attorney has serious problems seeing that the cataract surgery will aid in this. He's waiting on the eye doctor to schedule the eye surgery. Wherefore, defendant respectfully requests that this court, what does it even matter? Stark knows nothing about this case. Nothing. He proved that in his deposition. Nothing. He said 2 words to Larry Foreman. Hi, bye. Nothing. Whereas defendant respectfully requests that the court grant this motion for continuance and schedule the hearing to a date convenient for all parties. And then he puts the certificate of conference. There it is. So the certificate of conference is finally then in the amended motion. Once he does it legally, which it says here, I hereby certify that the undersigned attorney has conferred with the opposing counsel on the attached amended motion for continuance. A good faith effort was made with the opposing counsel to resolve the issue. Since this is a yes or no decision, there is no room for compromise. In other words, we said no. He said, hey, will you guys agree to this? No. He put in the motion. The undersigned attorney will proceed with the amended motion in the continuance. The attorney would like the time to file written response to their motions before it's scheduled for a hearing. So Judge Davis does approve that, which is normal. Any normal judge is going to do that based on medical issues. What's not normal is number one, Scott Stark knows nothing, absolutely nothing about this case. So who's really going to be writing this? Deuce again? Well, everything we see that Deuce writes is completely and totally denied, and makes him look like an even bigger fool. But the other overwhelming issue is their whole argument that we're just doing this for YouTube content. Well, here's an idea. Stop. You know what? If LIEnette stops stalking us, stops threatening us, stops harassing us, stops defaming us, guess what? There's no YouTube content. If John Crook stops doing all those things, guess what? There's no YouTube content. If Deuce stops doing all those things, guess what? No YouTube content. If Marli Huge stops doing that, if the Boneless stops doing that, if Stupid Dave stops doing that, if the Walruses stop doing that, guess what? There's no YouTube content. Except they can't get any views on their YouTube content unless they're talking about me. You see, I can go live my life and do the things that I love to do, treasure hunting, which has gotten us millions upon millions upon millions of views, versus this garbage that we have to put up for accountability that gets very few views. Their pathetic attempt at a defense of this is just done for Jeremy and George for YouTube content, when they would have no views if they didn't continue to prolong this, continue it, file frivolous cases. Why wouldn't they just stop?